Hi everyone, this is Big Benedict. We're on Vigrid, City of Déjà Vu, and this is Chapter 2 of Bayonetta on hard difficulty mode. So, here we are against Jean, or Jean, however you pronounce that in French. Sorry about that. The thing about this section here is that you cannot press the select button to access your inventory, but you can still access the HUD by pressing over to the left. And when I'm in a really difficult and when it's a fight where there's a lot of stakes, there's a lot at hand here, I'm disposed to use the menu rather than pressing on the D-pad to access the inventory, because this game is really great. It does a lot of good things, but I have a few complaints about it. One of it is that the screen should pause when you access your inventory, because it's similar to Ninja Gaiden Sigma, just Sigma, because in that game what you do is you press on the D-pad, you press left, up, or right to access your inventory. There is no function for down, as there is not in this game either. So what's happening is that when you're going to your HUD, I guess for lack of a better word for that, you have to in this game you have to see how I did that right there. You press over to the left, but then you have to hold it, and while you're doing that you're vulnerable. So it's not like when you're doing the witch time and you have the iframes, because I know how this would work on climax mode. It would probably have the sound effect when you're doing the evasion, but it would just never go into this mode here. But you would have the iframes from doing a successful evasion. So Jean is a pretty tough boss, and I don't have any qualms about using the red lollipops to increase my hit point damage for my own weapon. And like right here, you see I had 0 health, and there's a nice transition right there. Fade off, dead ass. If you want to have a drinking game, every time I say dead ass in this game, that would probably get you pretty drunk pretty damn quickly, because her ass is just all over the place in this game. But anyway, we've got a confrontation over here. Now, whenever there's a full moon, you can go on the sides of the buildings and stuff like that. It's a treat. This game is really a pleasure to play. So this enemy here, we've got some aerial enemies encircling what I guess would be their leader, and we also have some of these enemies. I like these enemies. I like to fight these enemies. Coming from like a God of War and a Ninja Gaiden standpoint, it's really hard for me to get good at this game, but I'm trying my best, and I am getting better. But in that game, a lot of the times, it's just, a boss confrontation was something that, they're pretty damn big bosses in like a God of War 3, where when it's a boss, it's boss time. And then there's, everything leading up and following the boss is just regular battles. So this game, it didn't get old, certainly, but it got to the point where I was, just completely worried all the time about all the next confrontations, because I know that they're probably going to be, boss encounters all over the place. Another thing I don't like about this game is I'm talking about some of the checkpoints. They're not very good, but for the most part, they're pretty fair. But there are just a couple of you just want to ask these people what they were thinking about placing a checkpoint here where it's not necessarily convenient for the player. Now these puzzles here, what you're doing is you're activating the witch time via that thunderbolt. So the closer you are to the door when you do it, the more time you'll have to actually destroy the door. And we'll be dealing with more of those puzzles over here. We have a huge fight out here. Now, the cars that you'll see down here, you can smash them for items, or you can do what I'm going to do and save them for the confrontation. When we fight the enemies, we'll be able to pick up the cars and throw them at enemies and deal incredible amounts of damage. So here's the first group of enemies right here. We've got these angels with the spears, and I really like that weapon. Whenever I kill one of these guys, it's really great to pick it up. I don't like the ball and chain necessarily, but this weapon's really good. Incidentally, if you want to discard the weapon you have, just click the LS button, the left stick. But some of these confrontations, there's a lot of enemies, and you have to rely on the same checkpoint. So this guy right over here, he's got an attack. He's got like 2 weapons that he likes to cross in an attack, but you can avoid it, simply by evading and get your witch time. And you can also parry his magic attack that he does with those blades. So check out that damage. Took off almost half of his life right there. But there are certain enemies that I prefer and some that I don't. The pair of enemies like the red and blue helium monsters or whatever they are really annoying. I don't like them whatsoever. So yeah, this weapon here I don't like to have, and I think I was trying to discard it at around about this point. So, technical aspects of this game, it runs at 30 frames a second, and I watched the reviews for this game a long time ago, and IGN actually did 2 reviews for this game, 2 separate videos, and really pointing out the flaws of the PlayStation version. I imagine that this game was like Ninja Gaiden 2, made for this console. Anyway, this huge monster that's looming ahead of us and approaching us, very easy monster actually, because his attacks aren't very fast. Oh yeah, it was at this point where I was trying to discard that ball and chain. So even if you evade towards where he's hitting you with his own weapon, you can still get in a parry. If it's successful, you get iframes. So it's just really chaotic. Like when I was every time I was wanting to play this game, or ever had the inkling of wanting to play this game, or it turned into the bird right there, I would always just look at it and it would just look like, because I know that this game has a really good reputation. Like even back when I didn't really want to play it that much, it just like a big mess all over the place. But you have to play it to appreciate it. And I was literally desperate to play something good, because I had just played nothing good of late. But I don't even know what decided it. I don't know. I think I was just perusing the store, the Xbox store. Then I bought it digitally, because when I have my Xbox hooked up, it makes too much noise, this console, so I like to have everything digital. And also I could stand it up vertically on my desk. It works a lot better that way. So here, this is going to give me an opportunity to talk outside of the battle, because I'm just going around and smashing things. What else? It's a fun experience. I watched the whole game, all the story. It's a pretty interesting and yet bizarre kind of story, but I have to credit it for being pretty consistent all around and credulous. It's a decent story that one can understand without a lot of convoluted things going on with the story. It's a pretty good narrative, but when I play this game, or but when I play games, I watch the story one time. This is a formality, unless I don't respect the game, and then I just just want to play the game. But right there, I was trying to do the wall runs that Ryu does in Ninja Gaiden. Right there. You can do UTs in this game. Just hold down the Y button. See, like when I said that this game has a lot of polish, what I immediately thought originally was jumping towards these awnings here and them ruffling against my character's body. And even the signs will shift about. So here's an ET, there's a UT right there. They're not very powerful, so don't depend on those ultimate techniques. And it's like everything about this game is just so hypersexualized, but it's in a good-natured way. And you could even interact with fire hydrants here. Okay, we have some wheel monsters here, and these guys are pretty damn easy. Just jump over the bus, you'll get your checkpoint. Okay, so far what I've been noticing about this game is, whenever you're doing a battle, just observe the enemy and see when he's going to attack you, and what his attack pattern. Not only what his attack pattern is, but what his attacks are exactly, and how they differ, and how often he does certain moves. But timing is really important in this game, as it should be, and it works like a dream. This game does. So I'm going to do a UT right there, smash some tables, and I didn't know you could smash the glass out of the doors until just now. But I did do a guide for Razor's Edge last year, and that's when it actually was only on the Wii U. And after I had finished that game, I just sold the Wii U because I don't like Nintendo products, but unfortunately, Bayonetta 2 is only on the Wii U, but I'm wondering to myself, is it going to be another one of those cases where it goes on to the other consoles like Razor's Edge did? But I don't know if that's going to be a possibility, because I think Bayonetta 2 might be optimized for the Wii U like this game was optimized for the 360. I'm sure it will find its way onto consoles someday, but I don't even think Nintendo allows people to monetize videos on YouTube, so I don't know. That's the last I heard. But having played this game, I really would like to play Bayonetta 2. See how I rolled right through that tire, the wheel? Okay, so we've got this guy again, this brute. He's pretty easy, and we've already faced this guy in this chapter before. And I think at some point we'll have two of these guys to fight simultaneously. But by the time the second guy comes down, I think he just summoned him right there. Yeah. By the time this guy drops down and actually comes over to you, you should have the first guy more or less killed. And it does look kind of like a mess, especially when I'm watching this again. But I'm telling you guys, this game works like a 10 game should. This is a 10, easily a 10. I think it's slightly harder. The learning curve is harder than Ninja Gaiden 2, but I don't know. I wish there was some kind of a parry, and like the gun. I don't think. Like, you can't not have a gun assigned to the control scheme. And a lot of the times first of all, I'm not a button masher with any game, because that is just a sign of a noob right off the bat. And I hate to say things of such sophomoric nature, but, it's just funny, because we all know what noobs are. but whenever I'm inputting commands on the controller, I oftentimes will start with the X button, you know, the top button by the Y button, because I'm so conditioned to playing God of War and Ninja Gaiden that I just assume that the X button is an attack, but it's the gun attack. And the gun is just not very useful in this game. So I just wish that it didn't have a gun at all. You know, maybe some other way to have the gun. But it's its own game. I mean, they wanted to do it their way, and I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I just don't like having a gun on that X button. Because then it's just, you know, well, what buttons do I press to do combos? And the true answer, what you're doing is you're inputting just Y and B commands. Okay, so we have some more of these types of angels down here. And I think I got an achievement called Platinum for getting 3 successive Platinum scores in a row, but I'm not entirely sure about that. I think I saw an achievement like that. Yeah, Platinum. Umbran Tears of Blood, huh? I don't know what that means. And the nice things about posting videos is that somebody will know what that means, so somebody always does, so it's great. Now this puzzle here, it's more ideal to activate, you know, when she snaps her fingers to morph. But if you have this dog here, which you will if you've already played the game, it makes this incredibly easy because you can get over there a lot quicker. So don't activate it quite yet. Just get over here and then activate it, and that'll give you, you know, it is a problem because if you miss that, then you have to go back to the statues and get. Oh, I missed the bird. I was so pissed off right there, trying to grab that bird. But anyway, we're coming to a boss right now after we smash these benches. So, you know, just make preparations for the boss fight after, before you go through the door. And I will see you at the boss fight. You're just going to have to forgive me. I do that constantly. Why do I do it? I don't know why. Anyway, here's the boss fight. Okay, we're on the dragon boss fight now. This guy is not too challenging because he doesn't have much HP, and it's okay for you to be very aggressive here. You notice I did a couple of aerial combos followed by the heel wicked weave attack. If he does start to bite you, you'll want to evade, but don't feel too hesitant to get right up in this guy's face, literally, because this is a very close quarters fight. There will come a point when the camera pans away and he is joined by a cohort, but you don't have to focus on killing that. You just need to finish this guy off as quickly as you can. And there is a rapid QuickTime event after this fight that I'm glad they put a checkpoint on, because it's ridiculous the speed that they want you to press the button at. So just keep doing your combos and just avoid the guy to the right, and just take advantage of his meteor attacks to do witch time. And then that's the end of the fight.